Dear students, now let us start with one of your two remaining poems, The Darkling Thrush by Thomas Hardy. So, first of all, something about the poet. He was born in 1840 and he died in 1928. And he is better known as a novelist than a poet. So, he has written many famous novels like The Mayor of Casterbridge, Tess, and Jude the Obscure, and those novels are widely read and admired even today. And he has also written many poems. And what is interesting is that he started writing poems at the age of 58. Another thing you have to keep in mind is that he belonged to the Victorian age, to the late Victorian age. Victorian age is that era in which Queen Victoria ruled over England. So he uh, belonged to that age, Victorian age, and another thing you have to keep in mind is that he had a pessimistic philosophy of life, and this pessimistic philosophy of life uh, is very much evident in his novels. They are all tragedies, and there are many tragic events in his novels, and there are many uh, coincidences, chance happenings, and they all always turn out to be tragic. So he is known for his pessimistic outlook on life. So now let us start with the poem. So the Darkling Thrush. First of all, this was written, it is dated. He has put a date, and that it was written on 31st December 1899. So it was, as you can see, that he wrote this poem on the last day of the year, and the last day of the century also, because this was the last day of the 19th century. The next year was 1900, and he wrote it on 31st December 1899. So this was the last day of the year, and this was the last day of the century also. So now, another thing is that when we are at the end of a century, we look forward to the next century with great hope. But this poem is different. The poet appears to be in a very sad and dismal mood. His state of mind is uh, that of a very depressed person. He is not at all happy. He seems to be devoid of all hope. So now let us start with the poem. I leant upon a coppice gate when frost was spectre grey. So coppice gate is a small gate, and it opens onto the forest, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਫੋਰੈਸਟ ਵੱਲ ਖੁੱਲਦਾ ਹੈ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਕਾਫੀ ਦਰਖਤ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੈ. ਸੋ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਘਰ ਦਾ ਗੇਟ ਪੇੜ ਦਰਖਤਾਂ ਵੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਖੁੱਲਦਾ, that is a coppice gate. So it was the time of evening, and he was leaning upon a coppice gate. So he seemed to be in a meditative mood, in a pensive mood, and he was leaning on that gate. So gate ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਉਹ ਢਾਸਣਾ ਲਗਾ ਕੇ ਖੜਾ ਸੀ. When frost was spectre grey. So now what is frost? Frost is a very thin layer of snow, a very thin layer of ice. ਬਰਫ਼ ਦੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਪਤਲੀ ਜੀ ਪਰਤ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿ ਦਰਖਤਾਂ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਨੂੰ ਢੱਕ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ. It may be on any solid surface. So the color of the frost was grey, and it looked grey like a ghost, ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਭੂਤ ਦਾ ਰੰਗ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ. It is just his imagination. So it looked grey like a ghost. And winter's dregs made desolate the weakening eye of day. So the eye of day is the sun, okay, because it shines there in the sky, and it is the eye of day. So he's referring to sun. So he refers to the sun as the eye of day, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਿ ਦਿਨ ਦੀ eye ਹੁੰਦੀ, ਅੱਖ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ. And winter's dregs made desolate the weakening eye of day, because these were the last days of winter. So even the light and even the warmth of the sun was weakened. ਉਹ ਵੀ ਕੀ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ, ਕਮਜ਼ੋਰ ਪਈ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ, ਸੂਰਜ ਦੀ ਗਰਮੀ ਕਿਉਂ ਘਟ ਗਈ ਸੀ, ਉਹਦੀ ਲਾਈਟ ਵੀ ਘਟੀ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ, ਕਿਉਂ? ਕਿਉਂਕਿ these were the last days of winter going on. The tangled vine stems scored the sky like strings of broken lyres. So when he looks up in the sky, then he sees that the leaves are not there because it is the peak of winter. So ਸਾਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਦਰਖਤ ਹੈ they are devoid of leaves. So ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ shrubs, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਛੋਟੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਝਾੜੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਜਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਦਰਖਤ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਟਾਹਣੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ, they seem to spread out in the sky. So when he looks up, instead of seeing the leaves, he can see those vine stems, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪਤਲੇ ਪਤਲੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਤਣੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਦਿਖਾਈ ਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ, clear, and they seem to be entangled. Entangled means ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਲਝੇ ਹੋਏ ਹੈ. So just try to imagine the bare stems of the shrubs, ਕਿ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤਣੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ shrubs ਵਗੈਰਾ ਦੇ, ਉਹ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ they are without any leaves, so they are looking like the broken strings of a lyre. So strings ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ, ਤਾਰਾਂ. So lyre ਕੀ ਹੈ? Lyre is a musical instrument. So ਐਦਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖੋ ਤਾਂ ਕੀ ਲੱਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ, shrubs ਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਤਲੇ ਪਤਲੇ ਜਾਂ ਟਾਹਣੀਆਂ, ਪਤਲੇ ਪਤਲੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤਣੇ ਦਿਖ ਰਹੇ ਸੀਗੇ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਵਿਦਾਊਟ ਲੀਵ ਸੀਗੇ, ਉਹ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਲੱਗ ਰਹੇ ਸੀਗੇ? ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਕਿਸੇ ਸਾਜ਼ ਦੀਆਂ ਟੁੱਟੀਆਂ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਤਾਰਾਂ. And all mankind that haunted Nigh had sought their household fires. ਔਰ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ all the people who lived nearby. So ਫਿਰ ਹਾਡੀ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੀ ਲੋਕ ਆਸ ਪਾਸ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, they could not be seen anywhere. Why? Because it was the time of winter and it was the time of deep evening also. So they had gone to their homes. And all mankind that haunted Nigh. Haunted means ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਘੁੰਮਦੇ ਅਕਸਰ ਦੇਖੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ. The people who used to roam here and there, they could not be seen. It seems as if they had taken shelter in their homes, as if they had now they were enjoying the household fires. ਕਿ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਉਹ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਸੋ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਵੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਾ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਹੈ. So what he sees around is that there are no men walking around, and there is a lot of desolation. Desolation ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕੋਈ ਰੌਣਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਬੇਰੌਣਕੀ ਹੈ. So this is what he sees around. ਔਰ ਸੂਰਜ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗਰਮੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਕੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ? Of the poem, The Darkling Thrush, the land's sharp features seemed to be the century's corpse outlent. So what is the meaning of corpse? Corpse means a dead body. So it was because it was the end of the century. So the land that evening seemed to him like the dead body of that century, which was spread out, outlent, जिस तरह के फैली हुई है वो, it is spread out, the land's sharp features. So why did the land seem to have sharp features? तिखा तिखी जी land क्यों लग रही सी? Did not appear to be soft. It appeared to have very sharp edges, very sharp features. Why? Because maybe the greenery was not there, the trees were not covered with leaves, the ground was also not covered with grass. That is why the land appeared to have sharp edges in the evening. So ਤਿੱਖਿਆ ਤਿੱਖੀ ਜੀ ਲੱਗ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਜ਼ਮੀਨ ਸੀ, ਔਰ ਉਹ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਲੱਗ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ? As if it is the dead body of the century. His crypt, the cloudy canopy. So what is a crypt? Crypt is it is an underground room in a church where dead bodies are buried. So his crypt, the cloudy canopy. So ਲੱਗ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ ਜ਼ਮੀਨ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਲੱਗ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ? As if it is the dead body of the century, and the clouds seemed to be the canopy, the roof of its crypt. Crypt is the room where dead bodies are buried. And the wind is death lament. And death lament means when you lament the death of somebody. ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੈਨ ਕੋਈ ਪਾਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਕੀਰਨੇ ਪਾਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਨਹੀਂ ਸੋ ਦਾ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਲੱਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਹਵਾ ਵੀ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਇਟ ਇਜ਼ ਲਮੈਂਟਿੰਗ ਓਵਰ ਦ ਡੈਥ ਆਫ ਦ ਸੈਂਚੁਰੀ, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਸੋਗ ਮਨਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਵੈਨ ਪਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ. The ancient pulse of German birth was shrunken, hard and dry. So because it was the time of winter, it was the peak of winter, therefore even the process of germination of the plants, trees, and the process of birth, it seemed to have suspended, it seems to have been suspended, it seemed to have come to an end. ਇੱਦਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਿ no germination is taking place. ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹ ਦੇਖ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਪਲਾਂਟਸ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਨੂੰ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਨਵੇਂ ਪੌਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਗ ਰਹੇ, ਨਵੇਂ ਪਲਾਂਟਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨਿਊ ਪਲਾਂਟਸ ਹੈ ਦੇ ਆਰ ਨੋਟ ਟੇਕਿੰਗ ਬਰਥ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਸੀਗਾ, ਇਟ ਇਜ਼ ਦ ਟਾਈਮ ਆਫ, ਇਟ ਵਾਜ਼ ਦ ਟਾਈਮ ਆਫ ਵਿੰਟਰ. ਸੋ ਐਜ਼ ਵੀ ਆਲ ਨੋ ਕਿ ਸਰਦੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੌਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਗਦੇ ਨਵੇਂ, ਔਰ ਇਵਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰੋਂ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੀਵਸ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਉਹ ਝੜ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ. ਸੋ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸ ਹੈ ਰੁਕਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ, ਕਾਹਦਾ, ਬਰਥ ਦਾ ਤੇ ਰੀਜੂਵਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ, ਰੀਜਨਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ, ਜਰਮੀਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ. And every spirit upon earth seemed fervorless as I. So ਦੇਖ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਲੱਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ every living being, spirit here means a living being. So every living being seemed to be as sad and depressed as he was. So ਸਰਦੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਹੈ ਹੀ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ, it makes you sad and depressed, largely because there is a lack of sunlight. The sunlight is not as strong as it is in the days of summer, and moreover you have to remain indoors. That makes many of us sad and depressed and desolate. And every spirit upon earth seemed fervorless as I. Fervorless, the meaning hi ki hai? Lacking in zeal and enthusiasm. ਕਿ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਜੋਸ਼ ਦੀ ਕਮੀ ਹੈ. ਸੋ ਐਸਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਲੋਕ ਤੁਰੇ ਫਿਰਦੇ ਆ, ਦੇ appeared to him to be in the same mood as he was. Next para. At once a voice arose among the bleak twigs overhead. So ਫਿਰ ਤਦੀ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਿ twigs are the small branches of trees or shrubs. So ਤਦੀ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ, ਇੱਕ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਆਈ. ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਦੀ ਆਈ? ਜਿੱਥੇ ਖੜਾ ਸੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਉੱਪਰੋਂ ਦੀ, ਕਿਤੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਰਖਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਛੋਟੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸ਼ਰਬ ਸੀਗੀ, ਥੋੜ੍ਹੇ ਛੋਟਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਦਰਖਤ ਸੀਗਾ, ਨੋਟ ਵੈਰੀ ਟਾਲ, ਝਾੜੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੀਗੀ, ਉੱਥੋਂ ਦੀ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ, ਇੱਕ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਆਈ. In a full-throated even song. Even song is evening song, the song of evening, evening prayer. In a full-hearted even song of joy illimited. So ਤਦੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਆਈ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ, ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਕੋਈ ਪੂਰੇ ਰੂਹ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ. Seemed to be singing from the heart, you may say, full-hearted even song. ਇੱਦਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਿ ਕੋਈ ਦਿਲ ਤੋਂ ਗਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ. And it was a song of evening and it seemed to be singing of joy. ਪਰ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਦਾ ਗੀਤ ਹੈ, unlimited ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਦਾ ਗੀਤ ਹੈ. Illimited again old usage, ਪੁਰਾਣਾ word ਹੈ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਯੂਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦਾ. Illimited ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਹੈ ਕਿ unlimited. An aged thrush, frail, gaunt and small. Aged ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਕੀ ਹੈ, old. So thrush ਇੱਕ ਬੁੱਢਾ ਜਿਹਾ bird ਬੈਠਾ ਸੀ, old bird ਬੈਠਾ ਸੀ. Frail ਸੀ, frail means it was weak, it looked weak. Gaunt ਦਾ ਵੀ ਕੀ ਮਤਲਬ ਹੁੰਦਾ, when a person becomes weak because of old age. And small, so ਛੋਟਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਇੱਕ ਕਮਜ਼ੋਰ ਜਿਹਾ bird, old bird ਬੈਠਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ. In blast, be ruffled plume. ਔਰ ਉਹਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੱਤੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ they were disturbed because of the gusts of wind, because of the strong wind. Even the plumes, ਉਹਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੰਖ ਸੀਗੇ, sorry, ਪੰਖ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਹ ਕੀ ਸੀਗੇ, they were his feathers were ruffled by the strong wind. So the ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਪੰਖ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਇੱਧਰ ਉੱਧਰ ਬਿਖਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀਗੇ. An aged thrush, frail, gaunt, and small, had chosen thus to fling his soul upon the growing gloom. So, ਜਿਹੜਾ gloom, ਜਿਹੜੀ sadness ਵਧੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ, as the day was coming to an end, as the century, as the year was coming to an end, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਦਾਸੀ ਵਧੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ, ਏਦਾਂ ਲੱਗਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ bird ਹੈ ਉਹਨੇ ਕੀ ਸੋਚ ਲਿਆ ਹੈ ਕਿ I'll sing a song and I will put my soul and heart into it. कि मैं पूरे मन दे नाल अपना गीत गाऊंगा. And I will try to he seems to be challenging the sadness, the darkness which appeared to be increasing every moment. So now I make an end here. The darkling thrush. So this is the last passage of the poem. So little cause for carolings of such ecstatic sound. So what is caroling? Caroling is simply means, for example, Christmas carols. So these are the songs of joy. So ecstatic means very happy. So when the poet heard the song of the bird, he was surprised because when he looked around, he could not see anything that could be a source of joy to anyone, that could make anybody sing like the bird was singing. So he was surprised. So little cause for carolings. So what he felt was that there was no reason for being so happy and for singing such a happy song. So little cause for carolings of such ecstatic sound, of such happy sounds. He felt as if there was no reason. Was written on terrestrial things afar or nigh around. Nigh means near. Terrestrial means earthly things. So when he looked around, he could not see anything on this earth which could make anybody so happy. No cause was there written on the earthly things. So he could not understand why the bird was so happy. That I could think there trembled through his happy good night air some blessed hope whereof he knew, and I was unaware. So then he thought that maybe why the bird was happy, though the weather was bad, though it was a bleak time, still what he guessed was that maybe the bird knew that there was hope and he was unaware of that hope. So the poem is about hope in dismal times. So I hope you have understood this poem. Now this poem reflects the mood of the Victorian times to which Thomas Hardy belonged. So as we discussed earlier also, he was a pessimistic person and his pessimism shone through his works. So it is very much, his pessimism is very much reflected in his novels and even in his poems. So what may be the reason behind this pessimism? We may trace it to the theories put forward by science in those times. So Charles Darwin had come up with his theory of evolution, and in that theory of evolution there was no mention of God anywhere. So whatever science was saying was very much contradictory to whatever religion had been saying for so many past centuries. According to the Bible, God created this universe and God created two human beings, first of all, Adam and Eve. And we are all descendants of Adam and Eve. But if we go by what science says, there is no mention of God anywhere. Though there is mention of nature and natural selection and survival of the fittest, but Science does not speak anywhere about God. So, whatever science was saying, it was shaking the faith of people in God and religion. And this was the cause of pessimism in many people in those times. So maybe the bird could sense the presence of God, which the poet was unable to do at that time. So the poem is open to many interpretations, and we can understand like this also. I hope the poem is clear to all of you. If anything is not clear, please ask me. Now I make an end here.